All right, so we will start with a simple guided meditation. I hear the doorbell, so we will give another few seconds before we start. Hello, please grab the cushion and sit wherever you feel comfortable. Yeah, yeah, you can sit there also. Yeah. Mhm. All right, so let's begin with our guided meditation. I will sound the gong 3 times and can gently close your eyes and transcend any worries from the day and bring your body to a resting position. With your eyes thus closed, notice your body's upright position. Notice also air coming in and going out through your nose. And begin to relax your body from anywhere you like to begin. I would like to begin with my mid back, lower back, and upper back, and resting my neck, and then the back of my head. And your shoulders. You may take a deep breath in, bringing your shoulders all the way up. And dropping your shoulders as you breathe out. You may do so as many times as you like. Allow that relaxation to settle in your skin, in parts of your body, wherever it is needed. You may skillfully avoid developing a story in your mind about things that you have experienced or experiencing or will experience. Considering thoughts as dry leaves that are blown away with the soft wind, giving no value to these thoughts. With acceptance, you become like a leaf hanging from a tree, just noticing and not reacting to all the winds that this leaf is feeling. Now allowing the rhythm of your breath to be revealed to you as a pattern that is naturally happening now. I now welcome you to stick with today's theme of reflecting about death that we will discuss later today. Remember that we came without a name, we go without a name. Nameless, we were born, nameless, we die. Without possessions, we were born, without possessions, we die. And this death is as close as our breath that may occur before we take the in breath after the out breath. It could occur in any moment. And reflecting on this natural occurrence in everything that we know helps us focus on life and set our priorities and forgive and live the life to the fullest. Great awakened beings like Buddhas and Arahants traveled this path and invited us to travel this path with them, knowing the great benefits of practicing death meditation. Notice also when we say goodbye to things and people known to us. In terms of things, they begin to discard them, or there will be a new owner for these things that once were ours. People will create new memories and move on with their lives. And we go with the good deeds merits that we have cultivated, only that. And our bodies become heavier, although it is the same form, but there is this heaviness that others begin to feel, and it becomes known as a corpse to others, a dead body. Think about the reality of it so that any expectations we have developed, any delusions we have created, we may be able to penetrate through and pin down to the wisdom of experiencing death here and now, knowing that those who die before they die will not die when they die. And according to the Buddha, practicing the death meditation brings us closer to the deathless, helps us to purify our conduct verbally, bodily, and mentally. And it also brings up a sense of urgency in our hearts, urgency to overcome our defilements and purify the minds. Be skillful with handling our shortcomings. Be kind and gentle with ourselves and those around us. Reflecting on death also helps us to be free with mental ties, experience the freedom that is always here, awaiting us. Now notice the decomposition of this body, earth element, water element, fire element, wind element. They go in their separate ways according to their nature. And the content of our stomachs begin to eat from within. At the moment of experiencing death, those who have not seen that or experienced that or been prepared to death before may struggle with the experience, be frightened, and their wisdom get hijacked by fear and emotions, sadness and grief. And they may not be able to control the strongest desires that the mind brings up. There is this helplessness also that you may want some water, you feel thirsty, and you are not getting in because of an illness, because of an accident, fire. In all these reasons that death comes closer to us. Now, insects and worms and animals take interest in the flesh of this body, our body becomes a feeding ground to these beings who are looking for food that we don't have any control of. And those beings who have achieved the highest of honors and wealth, they've also abandoned all that they have owned and surrendered to the truth of death. Death is waiting for us like a slaughterer with their sword raised, waiting to take our lives. Now, you will hear some verses that I chant and notice any wisdom that you hear with each verse that you will hear. At the end of the chanting, I will also present the meaning of each chant to help you understand how monks practice death meditation as a protection to the mind and as a way to honor the Buddha's instruction that monks should reflect on death as often as possible. These are the verses of caturārakkhā, four protections. One is loving kindness, one is recollection of Buddha nature, one is repulsiveness of this body, and the last one that we are practicing today is maranasati, the recollection of death. Pavatadipatulyaya sayusantatiyakhayang parupamaya sampassam bhavaye maranasating. By comparing a lamp in a breeze with the destruction of the life continuum, through seeing oneself as similar to others, one should develop mindfulness of death. Mahasampatti sampatta yatha satta mata idha tatha aham marissami maranang mama hissati. Just as people who have attained great good fortune here have died, in the same way will I die. Death is surely coming to me. Uppattiya sahe vedang Maranang agatang sada. Maranathaya okasang vadhako viya esati. Indeed, death always comes along with that which has arisen. It is like a murderer who is seeking an opportunity to kill. Isakang anivattang tang satatang gamanusukang jivitang udaya adhang suryo viyadhavati. This life is slowly, without turning back, continually, eagerly, going its way. It rises and falls, just as the sun runs its course and sets. Vijju bubbula ussava jalaraji parikhayang घातको रिपुतस्य sabbatapi avariyo. Like lightning, a bubble, dew, a line drawn on water, life quickly goes to destruction. Like an executioner in regard to his rival, death can never be constrained. Suya saddham punyidhi buddhi jinadvayang ghate si maranang kipang khatumadisake katha. Even the two kinds of victors who are famous, strong, meritorious, powerful, and of great intelligence were quickly slaughtered by death. So, what to say about one like me? Pachayanancha vekalya bahirajhattu padva maramurang nimesapi Marmano anughananti. When conditions fail, there are internal and external adversities. Dying at each and every moment, I will die in less time than a blink of an eye. Now you may bring your attention to your in-breath and out-breath. Without imposing any rhythm to it, any pattern to it. Just being mindfully present. You may make room for relaxation, letting go, and coming home to this body with the sound of the next gong sounding may come out of your meditation with an open heart for understanding and cultivating wisdom, even when you may not agree with the words that you hear. Okay. So this meditation, called death meditation, traditionally called Marananusati or Maranasati, is a meditation known to Buddhists from all faith traditions, and they often attend to the instruction of the Buddha that monks should be practicing death meditation. And this is a meditation that has so much of transformative power. Um, Imagine someone chasing a dead end, not realizing that they are actually chasing a dead end for them, remembering that death comes and there is no use of worrying about not getting anywhere, but instead focusing on what is ahead of your life. So there is this sense of samvega, the urgency that arises in an intelligent, wise person who begin to notice the truth of the expiration dates nearing us. So this is what we will visit today in the teaching segment of the talk, this session. Um, as you've just tasted the practice of it, I'll take about 20 minutes to go through some of the teachings I have gathered. So this one teaching is from Anguttara Nikaya 557. It says, but when monks often reflect on death, the living person's intoxication with life will either be entirely abandoned or grow weaker, and they won't conduct themselves in a bad way in body, in speech, and in mind. So that is Anguttara Nikaya 557. And in the same collection of discourses, the Buddha happened to be in this township called Nadika, and he sat in a brick hall, and the Buddha says, mindfulness of death, when developed and pursued, is of great fruit and great benefit. It gains a footing in the deathless, has the deathless as its final end. Therefore, monks should develop mindfulness of death, thinking that my life will only have one more day to live, thinking that I will die while eating, thinking that I will die while swallowing the food, thinking that I will die while chewing a bite or morsel of the food, or before you finish your in-breath. So the Buddha says, live heedfully, and that way bring your heart to the ending of defilements, letting go of indulging in what your mind brings to you all the time. And in Anguttara 620, the next discourse is about many different ways that death can occur to us. Imagine a forest monk living in the forest. He reflects on many different ways, like a snake might bite me, a scorpion might sting me, a centipede might bite me, I might stumble, I might fall, um, I may not digest my food, something in the stomach, my bile or phlegm, or something in my body, some piercing winds might be provoked. Um, and if any of these signs occur that you are nearing death, what is the only thing that we can do? The Buddha gives that instruction also, that you could reflect this way. Are there any evil, unskillful mental qualities that I should abandon? Otherwise, that they will obstruct my mind's peacefulness. If I were to die tonight, let me abandon these tendencies in the mind. On reflecting, if he realizes any evil, unskillful thoughts, mental qualities, he would abandon them. And when he dies in the same night, there is this extra effort, diligence, endeavor, and undivided mindfulness, alertness for abandoning of these mm, unskillful evil intentions at least the last moment before the actual death happens. And someone should do it as if their head is on fire. Just bring an image of head on fire. Indians wear these, what are those called? Turbans, and they can catch fire. And this can be dangerous to someone. But there is this urgency to overcome this challenge. So they would just try to do something about it. So doing something about it means just quickly taking actions and quickly dousing this fire, and that way they are free from it. So this urgency tells us, free your mind from any tendency toward clinging or defilements. So this another time the Buddha and King Kosala happened to have a conversation. King Kosala said he was busy with royal affairs, and the king was tired from this. And the Buddha brings another image, asking the king, "Oh, great king, if someone coming from the south says that a huge mountain as high as up to the clouds come rolling in the direction of you, and someone from the west, someone from the north, someone from the east, from all these directions, they come and say, a huge mountain is coming toward you. What would be your reaction?" The king says, obviously, uh, I will know that my death, my life is ending, that there is no escape for me, because I will be surrounded by these huge rocks, boulders, mountain, and I will reflect on improving my mind's state, at least in the last moment, last minute, by looking at Dhamma, looking at conduct, making the conduct right, and being skillful, at least in the last moment. And to be skillful, you may cultivate a mind of loving kindness. Mind imbued with loving kindness kills enmity, kills hatred, kills any anger. And freeing the mind from anger is a heavenly thing, the best gift you can give to yourself at a moment like that. So, and the Buddha says, in your royal court and in your treasuries, you have abundance of wealth in gold, in silver, And if anyone comes to war with you, you can even buy them, buy the army and win the wars. But all of that wealth is wealth that you eventually abandon. So the Buddha reminds him that do not indulge too much in only the royal affairs. Think also of the reality. Like the Buddha was being a great friend to the king and advising the right way. So toward the end of this discourse, we find some verses that goes as like massive boulders, mountains pressing against the sky, moving in from all sides, crushing the four directions. So aging and death come rolling over living beings, noble warriors, brahmanas, merchants, workers, outcasters, and scavengers. They spare nothing. They trample everything. Here, elephant troops can hold no ground, nor can chariots or infantry, nor can a battle of wits or wealth win out. So, a wise person, seeing his own good, steadfast, secures confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, and Sangha. One who practices the Dhamma in thought, word, and deed receives praise here on earth and after death rejoices in heaven. And Middle Length Discourses 131 speaks about uh, another piece about death. It says, he would not chase after the past, nor place expectations on the future. What is past is left behind, the future is as yet unreached. Whatever quality is present, he clearly sees right here, right there, unvanquished, unshaken. That is how he develops the mind, ardently doing his duty today, for who knows, tomorrow death may come. There is no bargaining with death and his mighty horde. Whoever lives thus ardently, relentlessly, both day and night, has truly had an auspicious day. So says the peaceful sage, that is the Buddha. So that is from the Middle Length Discourses. And in Anguttara again, this is 4.184, where it says, who has done what is good, what is skillful, has given protection to those in fear, and has not done what is evil, savage, or cruel, who has no doubt or perplexity, who has arrived at certainty with regard to the true teaching, when he comes down with a serious disease, he does not grieve, is not tormented, does not weep or beat his breast or grow delirious. This is another person who, subject to death, is not afraid or in terror of death. So it's helping someone who is gravely ill to overcome that challenge. So Sanyutta 5.1.5 says, how does one view the world so as not to be seen by death's king, Mara Raja, Mrityu Raja? The Buddha says, view the world, Mogaraja, as empty, always mindful to have removed any view about self. This way, one is above and beyond death. This is how one views the world, so as not to be seen by death's king. All right, so in Visuddhimagga, they have these later commentaries added to the Buddha's discourses. It has instructions on how to practice death meditation. It says, he who wishes to develop this meditation should retreat to solitude, and whilst living secluded, he should thus wisely reflect, death will come to me, the vital energy will be cut off, or death, death to him, namely, who does not wisely reflect, sorrow may arise by thinking on the death of a beloved person, just as to a mother whilst thinking on death of her beloved child. All right, so I have gone through some of these material I've gathered and did the practice. I've also collected uh, these together, so in a future date, when we want to revisit them, we may revisit them. So some people in Sri Lanka, they practice death in front of a corpse, and they get some thoughts into their mind, and they dwell on those thoughts and see the corpse in decay and think that this body also will experience similar experience in the future. Some people also reflect on quotes like "Jivitang aniyatang." This life is impermanent. Maranang niyatang. That this death is certain. Life is uncertain. Death is certain. But this is not to give an idea of any negativity to the mind, but to give some realistic sense about what actually should be experienced by us. Um, that gives a sense of relaxation to the mind and overcome any challenge that you may be facing in life. Anything else? Think about questions that you may have in your mind. If you don't have any question, that's okay too. um, yeah, that's about it. Anything you want to share? All right, so nothing else. Let's share merits and conclude the session for today. May the suffering ones be suffering free and the fear-struck fears be. May the grieving shed all grief and may all beings find relief. May all beings share this merit that we have thus acquired for the acquisition of all kinds of happiness. May beings inhabiting space and earth, devas and nagas of mighty power share this merit of ours. May they long protect the Buddha's dispensation. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful evening.